5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi guys!
Hello! Welcome back to another episode of
Monday, 3rd of 4 today. But we're going through this quite quickly. But anyway, today's is basically how we save for a house in 18 months.
So we've had a lot of questions. We've consolidated the questions into 3 points, so just to try and be succinct as possible.
So I think the first point really is setting that target. Things only work better when you know what you're working towards. For us, it was a case of actually, let's look around our houses. This is the area that we want to live in, and the houses are going for X amount of money in this area. So, and then from there, working out actually what's our target. When you're buying a house, you don't need to pay the full amount then and there, so don't be like, so there's no need to be worried about those prices. It's only you only pay a percentage of that basically. So because we were buying an old house, we're not buying a new build, it was going to be a minimum of 10%. Someone asked this question for us to cover in here in terms of what do you actually need to be able to buy a house. So it's different. For new builds, you could do it with 5%, and obviously the government then gives you a loan towards it. So anyway, basically, if you save 5% of the property price and it's a new build, you'll be okay. And then for old houses, most lenders want it to be accepted by the majority of lenders. 10% is only the minimum, but obviously some lenders do 5%, but for most lenders it's 10% minimum. It's that. So we thought, okay, we need to save 10% because we want to buy, at least 10% because we want to buy an old house. So that was our target. So literally we were like, okay, and also obviously setting the how long we wanted to save up for. So for us, we said really it was going to be a year, but we ended up going to a year and a half. But anyway, but basically saying actually this is the timeline. This is the timeline that we're working towards, and this is the amount that we need to save. So 10% of X amount is Y. We're saving up for, we're saving Y. And obviously in that also add in the fact that you will probably have to pay like solicitors, and stamp duty and stuff like that, so look into all of that.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting that if you're a first time buyer in the UK, it's stamp duty exempt if your property is valued at less than £300,000. We were a bit too late for that, so we actually had to pay stamp duty, which meant we had to put that into our calculations as well. So, but yeah, if you're a first time buyer now,
the laws changed.
The laws changed, so good for you guys. So if you want to buy a property and you've got the savings, at least you don't have to
worry about the stamp duty. The conveyancing is definitely still part of it, so you need to save up for that. For conveyancing, I think we paid about 1,200.
Yep.
I think that's about that ballpark.
So that includes conveyancing and valuation as well. I think. So that was about 1,003 or 4.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, about then. So basically less than 1,500. Yeah. That's how much we then had to save. So anyway, no, I mean on top of the deposit. That would have been sweet. That was sweet. No, with the with the deposit. But anyway, so yeah. So the next point that we would like to stress is basically being able to live below your means. This one's key, like it's key. At the time, just give a bit of background story. So Martina and I, we were living in the city centre, Manchester city centre. We had a 2-bedroom apartment that we were renting there.
So fast. Let me explain.
Oh, is that too fast? I'll slow down. Yeah. I've been told I speak a bit fast. But anyway, so yeah.
Someone did comment in one of the videos. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so basically, I think initially when we just chose to live in a city centre, it was for 2 reasons. It was close to work, so we could both walk to work because we both worked in a city centre at the time, and 2, to live that, you know, young life, city centre, enjoy ourselves.
Young married couple, you know, just chill out.
Yeah,
good views.
That's it. Take the views in. Take it on in.
It was good, we enjoyed it.
Especially at night, those views.
We enjoyed it, yeah.
So yeah, so we did that, but then I think with this point, obviously we had to quickly realise actually what we expected our lifestyle to be like and what it was going to be were 2 different things. Like what we expected it to be, if we kept on that line, would have ended up saving for like maybe 4 or 5 years or God knows how long. But we thought actually we need to do this, as I said, in that certain timeline. So we reduced our expenses significantly. So basically, practical ways of doing this, we started eating at home more. So obviously, I was an excited newlywed wife. And I was like, looking at these recipes, like let me cook my husband something. Literally, that was me. I was like, yeah.
I cooked as well.
Yeah.
I baked. I did a lot of baking.
Babe, it's not your time to take the reins.
I'm just saying.
Did I not cook great meals?
You cooked. Did I not provide good dessert as well?
Right, you try. Yeah, you did actually. But anyway, so yeah, it's just basically cooking at home more, eating out less.
That was challenging because surrounded by a lot of restaurants in Manchester city centre. Everything just by your footstep basically. Just take a 5-minute walk and you're at multiple choices.
That's it. But then obviously saying that we're not going to do that.
Yeah. So
that was one. We reduced how many takeouts we could have in a month and stuff. So that was another one. We had no car. So yeah, there was a time when we had no car. And some people might be like, why would you sacrifice the car? But for us living in a city centre, it was absolutely fine. Obviously, like going out and about when you're not in the centre, like going to church or like to visit family or like to event something, it was a little bit, yeah.
We got lifts.
Yeah, it was a little bit, I know we got lifts when we're lucky, but it was a little bit like, paying out, paying out Ubers and stuff. But no, basically, this was a time when we came across, I think just before that, we came across the Money Mustache blog that we talked about last time. So it was literally all about despising convenience. So we're like, actually, I mean, it's convenient to get an Uber, but we won't get an Uber, we'll get a bus, or we'll get a tram or whatever. But anyway, transport cost for us was completely reduced. That was something that we really saved on.
Again, I think it's worth reiterating that having lived in city centre, yes, the rent was a little bit high, but then that was compensated by the fact that we were walking to work. Both worked in town at the time, in the city centre. We also used to walk to the supermarket whenever we wanted to do any weekly or monthly shopping. We walked to get my haircut or wherever, I walked there. And just everything that we needed was all around us, wasn't it? Within walking distance. So the high rent was sort of justified by the fact that we didn't have all these other expenses. So in a sense, sort of, it worked out even better, really, right?
Sort of normally we have like a monthly allowance, so to speak, but we have like X amount. So Dino have X amount and I have X amount. We kind of touched on this in the first Money Monday that we did, but we have X amount a month that we allocate to spend on whatever we want. So basically, in this time, that reduced as well. That reduced. So we were like, okay, only spending X amount. Just finding ways that you can literally cut back, taking like packed lunch to work. Tina would come home at lunches as well, like because it was walking distance. Like I would randomly, but most times I just take packed lunch. Good times. And then in this season as well, we weren't shopping as much, so we weren't buying clothes as much, shoes and all of that stuff, you name it. We're not doing all of that stuff as much. So yeah, so that was basically some of the cutbacks that we made. So I think it's just figuring out, so something that you're happy to give up in order to actually be able to have more money to put into your saving pot.
Yeah.
Which leads us so nicely onto our next point: save, save, save.
Right. So yeah, the final point is saving. So this is probably what I think a lot of people find challenging, which is understandable. But this is where, without saving, you can't actually reach the goal basically of what you set. That is just as simple as that. So for us, we try to basically push ourselves to save as much as we can. So as Konge mentioned, we save 45% of our combined monthly income. And
I didn't mention, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it in a different video. I remember you mentioned it.
Okay, fair enough.
It's probably a different video, but yeah, we saved up I think around like 45% or so.
And that was consistently every single month.
Yeah.
Doing that. And if we could push more into it, excellent. But minimum was
that was the minimum. 45%. Yeah, that was the minimum.
And obviously in that time we had to get creative. As obviously we reduced our.
I've got a video.
So obviously, because we had, so obviously as I said, as we had reduced our allowance, our monthly allowance, we were to save up more and did all these different things, it meant that we had to get a bit creative. So Tunde at the time actually was doing some like tutoring and coaching and stuff. So obviously the money that we made from that, and it allowed us to have a little bit more like allowance and more like money to live on, so to speak. But this is why like all the side hustles. That's it. But yeah, this is why like all the side hustles bits come in. But anyway, we're not talking about that right now. But you know what? The main thing anyway was basically minimum, no matter what, no matter come rain, come sunshine, 45% was going into an account. And again, we touched on this in the last video, but we had a separate account. Like it's just critical in terms of helping you keep disciplined to have a separate account, because you're not seeing that money, you're not touching it on a daily. It's literally a separate account. So when we get paid, we both put in what we need to make sure that's a minimum of 45% of our combined income into that pot, and it stays there, and every month we keep piling it. And I think also we can't stress enough how important it is to be disciplined through this season as well, because being able to do all those things, you need discipline. You need to like keep each other accountable, and if you're doing it on your own, keep yourself accountable. But you need to get your friends to keep you accountable, but you need to be disciplined basically. Like we thought, it's so critical to actually to not touch like that money that you're saving. Don't touch it, you know. Don't say, oh my gosh, that bag's really nice though, once it's gone. No, like just don't touch it, do you know what I mean? Like once it's in there, leave it, because it's in there for a purpose. And it's in an absolute emergency, but really it's in there for a purpose, so just be disciplined.
Yeah, I think obviously having a separate account, that then becomes your deposit account then. And also any other miscellaneous costs such as solicitors fees and valuation fee and stuff like that. So yeah, keeping an eye on that also should motivate you as well to actually just keep going on. And
I got a little bit addicted, I won't lie. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good, let's keep putting money in it.
So yeah, keeping an eye on that, and then you know that should in a sense give you that confidence and knowing that you're actually moving in the right direction and making sure that actually that savings is growing on a monthly basis consistently.
Yeah, your work will be rewarded greatly. It's all worth it when you have that beautiful home and you finally move in, you've got the keys.
One thing to add though as well, one thing that I usually tell myself and tell Konge as well is time does fly. And you might think 18 months, 2 years, or 6 months, 3 years, whatever it is that you're to save up for. At the end of it, you look back and you think, wow, time actually does fly. And you never know, once you've actually started the journey, things could actually spiral up quite quickly. You don't know, you might just get a new role, or you might actually just find some other ways to make more money or whatever. But whatever it is, that extra, just make sure you save it towards that end goal. But yeah, time does fly. The time that we saved up whilst we were living in city centre, and you know, not having a car and getting a tram everywhere and so forth, and that just seemed like a long distance away, but that was just over 2 years ago really, but it seemed like such a long time ago. And yeah, hey.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna end the video because Sula's gone off to be with a plumber. We've got a plumber in the house. But yeah, so basically time does fly, so
You can finish up video.
Yeah, I just said that. Time does fly, so it is worth just keep going, and it will be so worth it in the end. Like, you just feel such a great accomplishment when it's all like complete and it's done, and you've got your saving pot, and you can finally hand that over in exchange for your keys. And yeah, it is so worth it. I think the minimum like we ever wanted to save that we think is a good amount to save. It was also something that we gained from reading The Richest Man in Babylon, which we talked about in the previous videos, and we'll link below as well. But one of the biggest things is just try and make sure you always save a minimum of 10%. If at all anything, make it a minimum of 10%. If you could do 40, if you could do 50, if you could do 20, if you could do whatever it is, perfect. But make it, like, if you can make it a minimum of 10%, like, that would be amazing, and before you know it, you would have piled it all up. So yeah, I would also like to add that you should try always save up the percentage that's going in for your deposit as soon as you get paid. So if you could automate it, perfect. If not, just literally do it on the same day. When you get paid, just set it as a default and go to transfer X amount into the savings account, and just do it literally as you get paid, because when the month goes on, you might get tempted to spend it, but if you know it's away, then you will be more, it will be more inclined to not spend it. So yeah, just put it away as soon as you get it. And also remember that, as Sula was saying, time will pass before you know it, you've got your house. Once you have your house, usually as well, you might find that your mortgage is less than your rent. And not only that, once you have your house, you can actually, you don't have to save up as much unless you've got another goal that you want to save up for, or you just want to keep going in that pattern. But literally, you can have a bit of a breathing space once you've got your house. And it doesn't matter how much you earn, it's about making the start. Every little helps. If those principles are implemented, every little helps. Yeah. So that's basically it. And if you've got any questions at all on this, we have literally one more video to do on this. So comment below, let us know what questions you have, and we shall actually cover them in the next session. If you feel like you've asked questions that have not been answered yet, we are going to be answering questions in our last video. And thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys following on with this series, and we shall see you in our next video next Monday. And have a lovely week, and please subscribe and thumbs up if you like this video, because it's very encouraging to see if people actually like it or not, because you never really know. So yeah, thumbs up if you really like it, and subscribe and comment below letting us know what you liked about this video or what you'd like to know from the next video. And thank you so much. See ya, bye.